Nearly, I'm sorry, nearly all men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Folks, this is a quote, as you can see, by Abraham Lincoln. And it has never been more true than it is today. If you want to test a man's character, give him power. Now, I say this, or quote this, because I've been thinking pretty much most of the day about the events. But let me roll back in history a bit into the 1950s, 53, 54, if I'm not mistaken. You had a Senator McCarthy who sat on a very powerful Senate committee. And that committee had a lot of power. And Mr. McCarthy, being the chairman of that committee, wielded tremendous power. He had the power to declare a citizen a traitor, a communist, etc., etc. Excuse me. And he used that power unabashedly to declare a lot of innocent people to be communists and to get them blackballed from various industries, to have their lives basically destroyed based on a whim. After it was discovered that Mr. McCarthy was making stuff up, he was cast out by the Republican Party. And they basically walked away from him and stated that he did not represent the ideals and morals of the Republican Party. But for a period of, I believe it was 5 years, they did everything they could to embrace him. They didn't want to get on his quote unquote bad side because of the power that he wielded. They knew him to be a man of low character. They knew him to be an anti-Semitic. He was a racist. He did not like black people. This man damn near hated everybody and everything that did not agree with positions that he took. And I stated previously that he made stuff up. And that has been documented, that he made stuff up. I read about him in the history books, and I read a few other periodicals regarding him, and basically over that period of time he was waging a reign of terror, not only in the business world but in Hollywood and other places. And I do mean it was a reign of terror. If you got called before his congressional committee, you know why you were going, and there were very few people that walked away from that committee hearing with their life intact. In the majority of cases, you basically needed to liquidate whatever assets you had and move to a different country because you were persona non grata in this country. I never really thought that I would see the day where that would occur again. Now, I do recognize, obviously, that shit happens, that people get accused of things unjustly, both in the political realm, in the business realm, and in everyday life. You have our current prison population that I have no doubt has a lot of innocent people sitting behind bars because people with power, i.e. police, district attorneys, and judges, decide to wield that power in an unholy manner, I'll say. They decide to utilize their power against the powerless, i.e. everyday guys like you and me, women too. Well, folks, over the past couple of days, it has never been more evident about how power can corrupt even the most incorruptible. There were various interviews on the cable news networks with evangelical leaders. And these leaders were asked how they could support an immoral man like Donald Trump. And they stated that no one is without sin and that they can forgive. Some of them said that the immorality took place a long time ago. Well, I guess within the past 4 or 5 years, I guess that's a long time ago, as far as Donald Trump is concerned. Some of them stood against Scripture. And honestly, you can find something in the Bible to support your position if you try hard enough. That is called corruption. Darn near anything that man deals with can be corrupted, including the Bible, if you want to try to find a way around it. But not actually digressing, but let me get to the point of this. A couple of days ago, well, actually more than a couple of days ago, several weeks ago, it was discovered that 2 people who had formerly, not currently, but formerly been involved in the Trump investigation into collusion. And these 2 people were carrying on an illicit relationship because both were married, and they happened to be texting each other back and forth. And one of the people, the gentleman, happened to make a reference to a secret society. Well, when the texts and the relationship were discovered, the chief investigator, Mueller, that's his name, immediately dismissed the male from the investigation and transferred the female attorney into a completely different area. So he took care of the problem because he recognized that the optics weren't good. Well, when certain individuals in the Republican Party became privy to the text messages, they locked in on secret society. Now, they didn't have all of the text messages, but they had enough that they should have realized that the reference to a secret society was a joke, because you had to read all of the, or the entire message where secret society, which was only said once, you had to read the entire message to understand that it was a joke. But as usual, they took that one phrase and ran with it. And once they started running with it, where did they go? Mainstream media talking about secret society. Who picks it up? Fox News. Now, it should be a fact of life that Fox News doesn't know its ass from a hole in the ground. And anytime, anything that works against Donald Trump, Fox News is going to run with it. And then it becomes reinforced because Donald Trump watches Fox News incessantly, is going to pick it up as a gospel. And he's going to run with it, which is going to further reinforce it with his base. So the next thing you know, there's a witch hunt against the parties that Fox News is attacking. Funny thing about it, the majority of the time, it's total bullshit. Case in point, the texts were revealed to basically the various intelligence committees in the House and the Senate. And upon revelation, it was discovered that it was a joke. But the day before, you had all kinds of senators and House of Representative members going on a national TV declaring that they had confidential informants that confirmed a secret society, that this secret society, or the fifth column, was real, and its goal was to unseat Donald Trump. Well, that was disproven with the original text that they found. But here we go. They wanted to see all of the text from the FBI guy and the attorney. And because of a glitch, approximately 5 months worth of their texts, along with texts from pretty much everybody else, were lost. Giant conspiracy theory starts. They don't tell you that all of the texts were lost from thousands of phones. They just tell you the texts were lost from this individual and his, let's call her girlfriend. They were screaming left, right, up, and down. Conspiracy, the texts were erased intentionally, etc., etc., etc. The FBI came back and said, no, there was a problem because they had switched phone types. And the new phone type, for whatever reason, did not, or new phone system did not retain the old text messages. Well, that response wasn't good enough. It got so bad that the phone manufacturer came out with a public statement stating that the problem was not with their phone equipment and that they would cooperate with whatever investigation was called upon. Okay. technology being what it is, and I knew this was going to happen, they were able to go back in and pull up, using forensic tools, the entire 5 months worth of text messages. And folks, I got to tell you, I've seen this one before because I had changed phones one time, and I wanted to keep my text messages, and I was told that they were lost, but I went into, and I'll tell you the name of the company, Verizon, and I told them I absolutely had to have those text messages back because, you know, my phone blew up, and, you know, just because I had a new phone, you know, I needed those messages. Well, guess what, folks? Verizon was able to go back in and restore all of my lost text messages. And this was not like the next day, folks. This was like a week later. So I'm assuming the government being what it is, it could go at least a month, if not more, for them to be able to restore the data that quote unquote was lost. Okay. Here come the 5,000 or so, or 5 months worth, because nobody really even knew the number of messages that were quote unquote lost. Here come the 5 months worth of messages, and they have already been scanned. And that is the only reference to a secret society. There was no further reference in any of the messages between the FBI guy and the attorney regarding a secret society. But that on his face is obviously stupid. I got a question for you. Who calls a secret society, especially if you're a member of a secret society? It's oxymoron. The senator from Wisconsin, Johnson, was one of the people that went on national TV claiming that he had a confidential informant that confirmed the secret society, quote unquote. And if I had been interviewing him, I would have had several questions, such as, was he a member of that secret society? Does he know who's in that secret society? Does he know where the secret society met and how many times? Those were just a few of the questions that I would have wanted to ask. But I'm not a reporter, so I don't get to ask those types of questions. Anyway, after all of the dust cleared, the messages are recovered, nothing else is found as far as a reference to the secret society is concerned. He's walking the halls of Congress getting ready to get into an elevator, and reporters basically run up to him and ask him about his confidential source confirming the secret society, and he basically had to shake it off. And he was asked if the American people deserve an apology based on his obvious lie regarding this quote unquote confidential source. And the only thing that he could say is, well, let us look at the rest of the text messages. Unfortunately for him, the text messages had already been looked at and there was nothing there. So, you know, it is what it is. Folks, if for nothing else, think about this one. When Donald Trump first started running, the mainstream Republican Party hated his ass. They called him a joke. They didn't want really to have anything to do with him. Okay, he was persona non grata as far as the Republicans were concerned. After he beat, they cooled to him. They didn't warm up, they were cool to him. And then after he beat Hillary Clinton, her dumb ass, with the help of the Russians, and I'll say it, and I'll say with the help of Hillary Clinton, who was too stupid to go back in and campaign in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, which were the 3 states she needed in order to beat him. But she listened to dumbass Robbie Mook and didn't listen to her husband, Bill Clinton, who told her that she needed to get her ass back into Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Donald Trump won. So now Donald Trump is the president and he's in power. Well, every last one of them swallowed their balls and cozied up to him. You have people that are now running around out there, Mr. Benghazi, Trey, whatever the fuck his name is, Trey Gowdy. He's out there defending Trump. You have Johnson from Wisconsin defending Trump, coming up with bullshit. You had Devin Nunes that's making up shit. Oh, I forgot about something. Devin Nunes is on the House Intelligence Committee, and he was supposed to recuse himself from the Trump-Russian investigation because he came running out and put out a phony story about information that he obtained that he had to take to the White House. But he failed to tell everybody that the information that he had to take to the White House was given to him by the White House. So with that embarrassment, he declared that he was recusing. Well, he's a liar because he hasn't actually recused himself. And now he's come out with this phony baloney report prepared by the House GOP in that committee that is supposedly damning the FBI and a bunch of its career agents. But he doesn't want to let anybody see the report. The Senate Intelligence Committee, which is chaired by a Republican, has asked to see a copy of the report that he came out with. And he's refusing to share that information. Now, the ranking member in the House Intelligence Committee has not seen the report, but he's seen all of the information that the report is supposedly based on. And to let you know how dipshit crazy, how bent, how corrupt the Republicans are, the Democratic member of the committee put forth a measure within the committee in order for each member to have access to the information. He put it to a vote of the committee. Now, most people would want to see what the hell was going on. But not the Republicans in this committee who are the majority. They voted not to read the information. Folks, what does that tell you? That tells you that these people want to hold on to power at any cost. They will defend Donald Trump at any cost. They will get on TV and have gotten on TV and lied to the American people. Bold-faced lied. And 24 hours later, when their lies are disproven, they will come up with a new lie. And that's what's happened here. They came up with a lie about the secret society. They came up with a lie about text messages being erased on purpose. They came up with lies about career FBI people who, by the way, majority of which are Republican, and some of which are even appointed by Donald Trump. So it doesn't matter, folks. They will hold on to power at any cost. Now, I'm not saying that Democrats more than likely wouldn't try to do the same thing, but as we have seen over the past 8 to 10 years, the Democrats are piss poor when it comes to holding on to power. Now, I did a video a couple of days ago regarding gerrymandering, and that's just another example of people, I'm not going to say Republicans because Democrats are guilty too, people trying to hold on to power. But in this particular case, the courts, God bless them in this particular instance, have taken a look at least 10 states and declared that their gerrymandering is unconstitutional and that they need to have the lines redrawn in a more equitable manner, and it's got to be done and in effect for the 2018 vote, which is going to put quite a few of the Republicans on the endangered species list. Power. If you want to test a man's character, give him power. Well, a bunch of these senators and House of Representative members have been given power, and their characters have been found wanting.